Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Screenshot, your go-to destination for youth culture, entertainment, and social issues. My name is Melinda Ncube, and I'm your host. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about sexual consent. We're now living in a world where there's a lot of sexual violence, there's harassment, there's exploitation. So we thought it would be a good idea to bring this topic to light. So helping me have this discussion today is Nokuzola, and I'm going to let Nokuzola tell us who she is, and then we'll get into the topic. The floor is yours.
Hi, Melinda. Hi, everyone. I'm Nokuzola Mbele. I'm a volunteer at Young People's Network on Health and Wellbeing. I'm a peer educator at Luveve Youth Center. I'm so excited to be here today and discuss sexual consent with you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get to it. So the reason why we're having this discussion today is because there was a topic trending on X and on an episode of Skim Sam, and so when I saw it, I was like, I think this relates to a lot of young people really worldwide. And so this is the scenario, and for those who don't watch in Skim Sam, but I asked around and they told me what happened. And so there's a guy okade ethandana lomunye usisane. Usisi lo, she was underage, but she did not say iminyaka yakhe. She wasn't honest about her age. So when they got to intimacy, and at some point kuthiwa wayala ukuthi I don't want to do it anymore, but then he continued and they had sex. So people are now like divided on whether it was rape, because he was convicted of rape, and so people are now saying, was it really rape or it wasn't rape? One, she lied about her age, and wavuma ukuhamba endlini yakhe and all that, with the intention of what? Having sex with that guy, right. And then things went sideways, ngapo underage. So I thought, let's actually bring this topic to light. So Nokuzola, my first question to you is, what does sexual consent mean to you personally and also on a professional level?
Okay, so consent for me, sexual consent is to say that we are agreeing, it's a mutual agreement to actually have any sexual activity, because sex is broad. It's a mutual agreement. I'm saying, yes, I want to do this with you. And also there's a model that you have to follow in order to see that it's actually consent, right? Okay. It's broken down into, it's called FRIED, right? So F stands for fully given. It means I'm giving my consent fully, right? No one is forcing me. I'm not being manipulated. I'm giving it fully. I'm happy to do it, right? And then we move on to R, where we're saying it's reversible, right? Like the scenario that you just indicated. I can retract my consent anytime that I want to. Right, I'm allowed to do that because there are a lot of reasons why I could do that, right? Maybe I'm not going to do this until I get married, and now I'm scared something happened, right?
That's how they can tell.
Exactly. So it's reversible. I can say, I can't do this anymore at any given time, and you have to respect that decision as my boyfriend, as my partner. Right, and then we move on to I. I was saying that it's informed, right? Informed in the sense that you know what you're getting yourself into. We all know if you have sex and there's always that chance you might get pregnant, you might get an STI. So you are fully informed, and also lihambile clinic la testing it, so you know what my partner is safe. Safe, we then take my medication as a to contracting HIV or any other STI. Right, so you have to be informed. And then moving on to E, it has to be enthusiastic. Yes, it's okay, right? There's hesitation, so it has to be enthusiastic, right? It's not a one-sided thing as a benefit only one person at the end of the day, right? And then moving on to I'm moving on to
D. You said fried.
Oh yeah, I said fried. Okay, so D, I'm forgetting what D stands for.
Maybe we'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I'll try to remember and then indicate it later on. All right, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That was very informative. So what does one do, Manje, when they find themselves in a situation where they want to withdraw the consent, but they have doubts in their mind. You know, you mentioned sometimes you want to please your boyfriend or something like that. So if you're in a situation like that, what would you do?
I think it goes back to self-love. Honestly, like have sex ngoba you want to have sex, not because you want to please someone. Unfortunately, I'll speak for women. Unfortunately, as girls, we were raised to cater for other people's feelings before our own, right? So at some point, I'll had to boyfriend, you know, like blackmail at some point. That so and at the end of the day, you want to prove what he has in. I do love you, and you know what? Fine, let's do it. So love yourself first. Know why you're having sex. I think it also begins from why in our relationship in the first place, right?
Okay.
Know your have purpose in our relationship, and if you're going there for sex, good for you. If you're going there with when you want to build a future with someone and sex is not there, as you sex yet, good stage set, then don't do it, right? Find someone who's willing to wait for you until whenever you are ready. But just don't do it to please someone else, because at the end of the day, you know, because conscience is weighing heavy on you. So just do it for you, for your own pleasure.
You know, you mentioned something about a love where someone says you don't love me because you don't want to have sex with me. You know, I feel like as a young person, at some point you've been brainwashed into thinking that's the truth. You know, and I probably said it to so many other people, or I'm assuming but when it comes to a point where someone says you don't love me, that's why you won't give me sex, you know, I think you should see a red flag in your eye, because most of us so who promise to love, because I mean when you're 18, 17,
your hormones and everything,
they're raging, they're angry, you know, they also you're being rebellious at home, no, 6 but you'll be there at 8, so yeah, guys, as men, you know, there's no harm in waiting for these types of things.
Yes.
So back to consent, and also covering what you do, and you work with young girls.
Yes,
and
yes.
What's the, like, when you're working with young people, what's the general idea that surrounds consent? That I want to hear from you. What do young people, what a mindset when it comes to sexual consent? What do they think?
Do you know what? I was just thinking the other day, and you ask a young person, the age of consent to sex in Zimbabwe, how many years? The age, it's 8, right? But it ends there, because consent is broad, right? It's not just all right, it's only 18 years, I can now consent to sex, right? It's broad. You have to know what it actually means. Young people don't really know what consent means.
So like in their heads, consent usufike iminyaka ukuthi legally sungalala lo muntu.
Exactly.
It doesn't go deeper than that.
Exactly. And they know. They'll tell you it's 18 years. And I'll be shocked. I'm good. Oh, you do know. But beyond that, they don't really know what consent means. Kibo. So, yeah.
There's a point that you also mentioned that I think is very important, that says consent can be withdrawn at any time, at any moment. You know, I feel like it needs to be emphasized in every situation.
Yes.
Once you start, it doesn't mean you have to finish.
Yes.
You know, but a friend of mine was saying, for guys it's not easy. Once you start, it's not easy to do what? To stop. So let's talk about the consequences of not stopping. Maybe if they know what can happen if you don't stop. Let's talk about that.
Let me just give an example. I had a dialogue with a few young people a few days ago on consent, actually. Where I was telling them, she can withdraw at any given time. They were like, but it's not fair on the guy. And I'm like, you know what, you're right, it's not fair. But it's also not fair on the girl, right? Because there's a reason. My feelings like they are not invalid for ufuna retractor in a consent, right? My consequences at the end of the day, because you're right to actually report you. And because the moment you go on after say I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. It's now rape. But it's now rape. Maybe sometimes it's her first time. And now she's just in pain and she right? So you have to, as a man, have discipline, you know.
As
hard as it may be, just have discipline and respect for that person. Because I mean, after having sex, forcefully, what would be the outcome of your relationship? Exactly after that, you know, there's actually a point anymore.
Not a black cloud hanging over your
Exactly. So just find it in you. Just find it in you. Have the strength to just stop and also observe. Sometimes consent, just because I didn't say no doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying yes. Right?
I wanted to go to that, the non-verbal cues.
Yes, the non-verbal cues. Just because you say no doesn't mean I said yes either. So just be observant. She's becoming tense, you know, so say hesitant, yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, can guys also withdraw their consent? You know, girls and all that. What about a guy? Can he withdraw his consent? Like,
yeah, it allows everyone. It allows everyone to. So you can exercise your right as a guy as well. It's okay, right? Maybe I wait and when's into wild, you know. Yeah. And as a guy, you are not comfortable with that. I think it's okay. It's okay, like, to say, but you know what? I'm not comfortable with this. Honestly, I would love to do it with you, but I'm just not comfortable with it. Maybe another time or never. But I'm just not comfortable with it. It's okay as a guy. It's for everyone. It's not just for girls, right? It's for everyone.
I think it's important for us to make it known. Even as a guy, you can say no. Yeah. You know, it's not that deep.
The problem with guys now. Probably. Yeah, of course.
So also, you say something about self-love for girls. Guys can also have self-love.
Yes.
Self-love is not limited to females only.
Zithande. You know, it's rare, you know, to have sex, right? I find that as a lack of self-love at some point, because just because you satisfy on pants, now you're just going through with it. You know, yes, you know.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a post I saw recently. City, most guys lost their virginities to their mates and all that, you know. But it was cool for that person. You have a 13, 14, and the maid will be maybe 19, 20. But you know, it's cool for them. If the roles were reversed, if you got a boy, a virginity of umtwane, you know, the outrage that would be there. But the fact that the guys also don't see that there's a problem in what happened, and is a problem in its own.
It is a problem, honestly. I think at a young age, peer pressure is mostly centered around sex, really. You know, it's sex. Ungafika a certain age la ungazange wayizwe sex group and you have no experience, you have no story to tell. It kind of leaves you out. You feel left out. Exactly. And then I also feel the pressure to just please them. You're like, okay, fine, I'll do it again. But I mean, as I remember this other time, Cecily training. I was in junior council by that time. Cecily training on self-love and all that, right? And one of our mentors was like, guys, sometimes it's wrong to lie, but sometimes you can just lie to just pass, you know. Okay, I've had sex, and actually do it just because you want to prove to those people, you know what, I've had sex. So you know what, just lie if you have to in order to protect yourself. I think that's okay too. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about awareness now. Spreading awareness to young people about, you know, important things like sexual consent, sexual harassment, you know, exploitation and stuff like that. What are we supposed to do as young people to spread awareness to our fellow young people?
Okay, I think there are a lot of seminars, a lot of conferences, a lot of workshops that take place concerning into the consent and the likes. Engage in those platforms and then when you get there, that information that you get, don't keep it to yourself. Go out there and spread it. Have community dialogues. Have young people be and get that information and also you can use social media instead of posting just spread the awareness on this kind of things. Maybe we'll attend a conference. Also post my pictures and you have your message lapana on sexual consent. It was about that, so young people can be well versed on that, and you'll have young people in my comment section asking questions. They'll be throwing in my comments and the likes. Just seven social media as a tool to spread the awareness because it's easy. Social media is global, right? Everywhere. So into post lapha they can benefit from that information. So another thing as well, there's actually an app. It's called TuneMe. It's for young people. Okay. It's an excellent application. I would actually love to give you a link. It's an excellent application where there's information on everything concerning SRHR. Really? It actually even goes on to what do you call this? Try to find the service option. It can give you nearby hospitals or nearby clinics where you can go and access help. What do you call this? A guideline where gulama numbers, organizations, when you've been sexually assaulted or you need help, my mental health and all that. There's everything, literally everything. TuneMe. TuneMe. Yes.
As in TuneMe is slang.
Like TUNEME. So TuneMe, right? You can find it good Play Store, but or you can go to App Market. App Market will definitely be there. TuneMe United Nations. Sometimes I believe TuneMe United Nations. It's excellent. I would advise every young person to have that application. Ilama advice on umjolo,
Really?
Yes, consent, everything.
I'm so concerned by the fact that I did not know that an application.
I'm glad to. I'm glad to. No, it's an excellent app, honestly. Actually, for girls, it even has a period track.
I hope. I think I'll look it up.
No, it's great, honestly. Just look it up and how you can take it. Maybe also post it and have young people be download. It's it's really great, yeah.
Nokuzola.
Yeah, and there's a fly. Wow.
So now we're still getting into the groove of our conversation. But thank you so much for coming through and talking to me about consent and also plugging us with the Nokuzola Mbele. After this episode, I'm definitely looking it up and sending it to other people. And to test too.
Yes.
Let's not gatekeep this type of things. Yes. So. And to everyone at home, thank you for tuning in. And can you please look for this application or TuneMe, 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 and leave us a like, a comment, show Nokuzola some love. Until next week, bye.